Good morning and welcome to Warrior Musings. My name is Ingrid Huffman. I am Blue Heron Warrior, the essence of all that is, ever has been, and can be. And I'm going to be the one musing, probably weekly at this time, every Wednesday morning. It might alternate and fluctuate some, depending what's going on with my farm. And we'll be inviting guests to join us too as musers, musing about the art of living in true freedom, the art of living through chaos in true freedom, because whether you realize it or not, folks, chaos is coming. Chaos as you've never seen it before is coming, because the old systems that we've known are breaking down. And the only way through this is to live, thrive through this chaos in true freedom, guided by natural law and time. So let's muse about true freedom. For us Americans, you might say, I've got the Constitution. The Constitution grants me rights. We've just got to get back to a constitutional government. And at that point, I'm going to say, hold on, time out. What makes you think a human is above you and can give you freedom that you were born inherently with? Just because they may have a college degree and you don't, or they may have a higher college degree, or their degree is different than yours, that makes them more able to grant you freedom than you can give yourself? I don't think so. It's time for us to stop waiting for the government to give us freedom and take this back ourselves, into ourselves, be our own self-sovereign, free human being. So the next thing is you might say, well, I'm not a warrior. I've never had an interest in being in the military. Being a sacred warrior, Blue Heron Warrior, has nothing whatsoever to do with having been in the military. I was in the military. I was in the Navy Nurse Corps and the Army Nurse Corps. But now, being a warrior, gladiator, and I'm going to use those two terms interchangeably probably whenever the inspiration hits to use it. So being a warrior or gladiator has nothing to do with being in the Marine Corps or the Navy or the Army or the Coast Guard or the Air Force or the reserves. The sacred warrior is not angry and looking for a fight or looking how to kill someone that he or she has been told is his or her enemy. The sacred warrior, gladiator, is a person, a human being. And we'll get to that. I will talk about that later, probably in another episode, about what the difference between a human and a person is. So the warrior, the sacred warrior gladiator, is a person, a human, who thrives in true freedom, through chaos, through change, which is inevitable, with a heart spilling over with love, in Aini reciprocity. They are the mastermind of the future. So let's muse now about the word freedom. What is freedom? Well, some definitions are the absence of coercion in choice or action. Another definition would be the liberation from the power of another. And its origin is it comes from an Old English word, which means the power of self-determination. According to Socrates, freedom is freedom from want due to self-mastery. This freedom is not poor, not because of owning much, but because of needing little. So let's unpack this a little bit further. Freedom from needing little. That doesn't mean we go to the Buddhist concept of dissolving all desires, because no, spirit is constantly giving us desires. It's what pulls us further into evolving is our desires. But what has brought us to this state of debt slavery, and even if you're white living in America, you are absolutely and totally a slave. You have been described by those who wish to exterminate you as a useless eater. So I'm sorry if the way I speak offends anyone, but this is not a time to placate ourselves into believing everything will be okay. If we just continue as we are, that the government can just continue to print money and everything will be okay. We can just continue consuming, eating our way into oblivion. Well, if that's what you want to do, then these warrior musings are not for you. Because the sacred warrior is also someone who fully takes responsibility for what they are generating every day and stops consuming, eating their way into oblivion. Now stop and think for a minute. How much of what you purchase every day is actually necessary? Or is it just something that you bought just because you could, because you had the money, and because an influencer says, oh, this will make your life that much more cool? Well, when you brought it home, did it really change anything for you, or is it just another useless space holder? Freedom is a state of mind. It's a philosophical concept reflecting our inalienable human right to realize our own will. So freedom begins at the point just beyond where we humans restrict and constrict ourselves. Something or someone humans are free if it can change easily and is not constrained in its present state. So how many of you are constrained in your present state? If I challenged you to come to Sacred Warrior training with me, how many of you would tell me that you can't because you have bills to pay, because of this, because of that? This means you are a slave to someone else. You are constrained in a state and you're not free. You're not living in freedom at all because you just can't. You're constrained to the status quo. So true freedom includes the possibility, the infinite possibility, all infinite possibilities, I'm sorry. Using my phone and recording at the same time, it allows for distractions, but that's all part of being a warrior, is being able to operate through distractions. So true freedom includes all infinite possibilities, which includes the possibility of chaos, change. And change is the only thing that's routine in life, is the only thing that's a given. Chaos, the universe is always moving from chaos to order, and our 3D world is always moving from order to chaos. So learning how to thrive through chaos to the other side of the chaos is what's important. So we must embrace change without fear if we are to be truly free. Through the fear of chaos, most of us have through time, through hundreds and thousands of years have advocated the legitimacy of authority and government. And so we are therefore advocating the authority or the legitimacy of violence and slavery. Violence and slavery can't produce chaos because violence and slavery are the ultimate form of chaos. So how do we live through the fear of chaos? How do we find our way through this fear of chaos to true freedom? Well, by living in natural time, guided by natural law. And it's just that simple. So what is natural law? And this is, well, I'm just doing this off the cuff. I have no plans. So natural law is what comes from source. Whether you want to call source energy, the Tao, God, the Vedas, the Great Spirit, Christ, Jesus, Savior, whatever term you use for the source energy that animates you every day, that is what has set these natural laws into being. They are hermetically sealed. They can't be changed. And this natural law manifests in 8 principles by which everything and everyone is governed. The universe exists in perfect harmony, as does your personal universe, your body. This biodegradable time-space suit you're in is a petri dish of 50 trillion cells living under one roof. Your skin right here. That's your roof. There's 50 trillion of you living in there and in perfect harmony and peace in utopia. How much of the time? Unless you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars every year to keep it in a state of disharmony, dis-ease. Utopia is your personal universe's natural state, as is the greater universe all around you. So the governing natural law principles, they don't seek to punish or to reward anyone. There's no favoritism. They are absolutely, totally impersonal, and they operate automatically in your subconscious mind, guiding you most of the time without your conscious participation. And this is where, in becoming as a sacred warrior, you understand that you are the consciousness and energy congealing into mass, and you create your reality. And the garden of the future for all of humanity. So once we actively start understanding and applying ourselves to these principles, to learning and living by them, we will transform our world far beyond what we have ever dared to imagine. Most people know about 7, but we'll be adding the 8th lost principle. These principles are the master key through which universal wisdom is unveiled or deocculted, as well as the knowledge and requirements to obtaining what we desire. And it's all about the journey. The obtaining of stuff that we desire is just incidental to following these and living by principles of natural law in natural time. The Kabbalion said the principles of truth are 7. He who knows these understandingly possesses the magic key before whose touch all doors of the temple fly open. So as I said, we will go into 7 and then add the 8th lost principle. So I'll give you the list of the 7 principles and leave the 8th to be deocculted in a later session. So principle number 1 is mentalism. All is mind. The universe is mental. Thoughts lead to the manifestation of things and events. Number 2, correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. As in the macrocosm, so in the microcosm. Vibration. Everything is vibration. Even this, those books and bookshelves behind me are pure vibration. Number 4 is polarity. Everything is dual. We can't transcend duality. Because without darkness, you can't have light. Without light, you can't have darkness. So I just heard today in something I was listening to, the human said, so anger and violence and greed will never go away. And my answer to that is, it won't. But can you minimize it? Can you not act out of violence, greed, consumerism? Without a doubt. The shadow becomes less dense. It's a given. We all dip into our shadows. But currently, in our state of life, in the human condition, we are living in the densest shadows. And those shadows can become very light. They don't have to rule us. And it's shown this in our yearly seasons. Nature shows us this. She's only dense for 2 to 3 weeks every winter around the solstice, and it's all a gradual easing and phasing out. But right there, so the extent, the degree to which it exists is what we determine. Number 5 is rhythm. Everything flows. Number 6, the law of patterns. Most people know this as cause and effect. I will tell you it's patterning. It's all patterning. And then number 7 is gender. Everything has a masculine and feminine principle, yin and yang. Can't get away from it. No matter how many times you try to splice this and create different, there's only 2. Masculine and feminine, yin and yang. And with that, we'll end, and we'll delve into each principle at a time. We'll also muse about natural time and unpack time concepts, the concept of timefulness and time shifting. So again, my name is Ingrid. I am Blue Heron Warrior, the essence of all that is, ever has been, and can be. Join me again next Wednesday, maybe before if the inspiration hits, and we'll see you next time.